All right, two fitness myths that are prevalent this time of year. Well, they're actually prevalent at all times during the year, but especially during this time of the year, especially going into the new year. So Scott here from Walsh Performance. Before we begin, each month I select one lucky winner to gain free access to my VIP members area for 30 days. So if you want to take part, as most of you know, one of my favorite shows is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. In the comments section below, comment with hashtag 99, and each month I'll select one lucky winner to take part. You get 30 days of free access. Lots of good info, lots of good content. If you want to find out more about it, you can subscribe to my newsletter. You'll find the link below and you'll get a free copy of my ebook, The Lean Body Blueprint. If you're interested in the VIP members area, just shoot me a message or just respond to my email and I'll go over all the details there. So anyways, moving on. So two fitness myths that are prevalent, and one is the idea of people demonizing carbs as the reason most people gain weight. And it's just not true. And that's just, it's something that a lot of us are kind of fighting for and getting rid of one of these big myths that's prevalent. And it's not your fault at all. It's because the fitness industry has been hammering down that, you know, either one year carbs are bad, next year fats are bad. It just goes back and forth so much. And what it is that essentially the reason that's led to weight gain is a calorie surplus. So you've been taking in too many calories, whether that be whether you're eating very large portion sizes and overeating that way, or you're just eating a lot of very high calorie, very calorie dense foods. So I want to give you an example here, and I want to show you a couple things really quickly, because one thing's for sure, I mean, you can kind of overeat any food, but I've never seen any instance where fruit is going to make people fat. And generally, fruit is all carbohydrates. Now, fruit has a lot of things, like it's micronutrients, it has fiber, it's very filling, and it's something that, in terms of any kind of weight loss or fitness regimen or for anybody's health, it's something I highly recommend everybody eat. If a lot of people ate more fruit in society, we wouldn't have the obesity epidemic that's going on here. So I want to show you a bit of an example, and I want to kind of break it down as easy as possible for you. So I want to show you something really quickly. And so number one here, it's banana. So this banana, depending on the size of the banana, it could be anywhere from, and forgive me if I'm slightly incorrect, but you could get a small banana from 80 calories to anywhere up to 105 calories, maybe slightly more, like being small or medium or even a large banana. So in terms of a banana, this is very filling. It's going to fill you up very quickly. It's going to keep you full. There's lots of fiber in fruit. There's lots of micronutrients that are going to help your body run optimally. And it's very low in calories. You're not going to overeat too many bananas before you get full and you can't eat anymore. But on the other end of the spectrum, and I'm not going to say fat's bad here, you want a balance of macronutrients, and you want to find out what your daily calorie intake, and you can do that easily by going to calculator.net and to the calorie calculator. You'll find the calories you need for your deficit. But here's one thing that people use a lot on the keto diet per se, and this would be olive oil. So I want to show you something quickly. So here's banana. See that? Very filling. So let's say olive oil. Now olive oil can be anywhere from, it could be anywhere from 90 calories to 120 calories. Sometimes I've seen some olive oil that's more per tablespoon. So just look at that. So if I filled up a tablespoon of this, you could be getting an extra 120 calories per day. Most people overuse olive oil. So they generally will take in it could be anywhere from 300 to 700 extra calories per day if they're overusing olive oil. So if you've been struggling with your weight loss efforts, I highly recommend that you replace, or you watch your portion size with olive oil, or you could use things, a lot of people, sometimes they'll use sprays, cooking sprays, just don't go crazy with it. And then another thing that works very well also is you could be using light margarine. So you can measure out a portion size of light margarine, and you're going to significantly reduce, especially when you're cooking. You might need some margarine or some butter, but you could significantly reduce the calories in your daily intake by just doing that alone. So most people, what they do is they'll take olive oil, just douse it all over the pan, and essentially they could be adding an extra 300 to 700 calories per day. So kind of keep that in mind. So really keep that in mind. Fruit's not something that's going to make you gain weight very quickly. Let's put it that way. You're going to fill up very easily before you overeat your calorie intake in terms of fruit. Now, moving on. So number 2 would be the premise, and even though I host challenges, it's the premise of like things like 6-pack in 6 weeks. And you got to realize, just, we all know, everybody here is smart, so you know better. It's just sometimes we get drawn in by easy marketing. So you got to look at it this way. A lot of people that work on getting to a 6-pack or getting very lean, it takes them a lot of work. There's a lot of training involved, a lot of cardiovascular work, a significant calorie deficit, and plus just using different tactics to help them get to those very lean levels. But the one thing you got to remember, Sue, is that they just didn't do that in 6 weeks unless they were very lean already. So just think about it. If you had 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds or more to lose, you're not going to get a 6-pack in 6 weeks. You didn't gain that, 30, 40, 50 pounds in 6 weeks unless you overate like crazy. And you're not going to take it off that quickly either. So one thing I recommend is you start learning how to either eat proper portion sizes, number 1, figuring out your calorie intake and taking a moderate deficit, and then understanding just having patience. So some of you will try going in a calorie deficit for like 2 days, and you'll be like, oh no, it doesn't work. I can't do it. What I want you to do is, when it comes to a calorie deficit or watching your portion sizes or weight loss, have patience. So take about 8 to 12 weeks and see how your process is going. You can do daily weigh-ins, you can do waist measurements, take progress photos, and have some patience when it comes to this, and understand that it will come, but it's not just, you're not going to get a 6-pack in 6 weeks. It's going to take a lot longer. It took you a long while to put it on. It's going to take you long to take it off as well. The one thing you should focus on is performance-based goals. So with your training, so how can you get better, or how can you make your workouts even more fun? And how can you build up a consistent habit of training and watching your nutrition, right? And then making sure that sometimes people get impatient, and even though they may not be consistent, or they're not following through with their goals, or they haven't been like, one thing I recommend is actually taking a calendar and then marking out like every day that you say you train, you're in a deficit, or you've been watching your portion sizes. And if you look back over the end of the month and say you've been at that 80% mark or more, you've been really consistent and you've been on the marker, and I guarantee you that you'll notice progress, whether it be in the mirror, it might not always be on the scale, but you'll notice with your waist measurement, progress photos, or scale. But you have to understand that it takes patience. It's not going to take you 6 weeks to get ripped, because it didn't take you 6 weeks to put all that weight on. And you just have to understand that most people are going from non-exercise to exercise. And in most situations, somebody might start off and only train 2 days a week. Come back to me when you're training 3, 4, 5 times a week, and you're building up the consistent routine, and you're loving exercise, and you've been watching your nutrition, because most people, they'll diet hard during the week, and then on the weekends, they'll just completely fall off the wagon and then overeat calories like most people do, right? So keep that in mind. Those are 2 huge fitness myths that are prevalent this time of year. So keep an eye out for that. Remember, number 1, carbs aren't the reason you gain weight. It's an excess of calories, or a calorie surplus is a reason, because you've been overeating, whether it's been large portion sizes or just eating a lot of very calorically dense food, like you're eating a lot of takeout and things along those lines. And it could come from things like drinks. If you're drinking a lot of calories from drinks, like especially specialty drinks, they can go anywhere up to 500 calories a day. So start paying attention. You can log your food, you can keep track of your portion sizes, but as long as you're keeping track, you'll start to notice, you can course correct as you go. And especially too with calories, if you do your calorie calculations, and you notice you may not be losing weight, you might need to lower your calories by another 100 or a couple of 100 calories. It's not an exact science. It's not like you get your calories and you don't lose weight. How come I'm not losing weight? I did my calculations. Everybody's going to be slightly different, right? So just keep an eye out for those 2 things. And especially to you want to have patience. So understand that, have patience. So I hope these helped. If you do have any questions, reach out to me. Remember, you want every month I select one lucky winner to the VIP members, Walsh Performance VIP members area. If you want to take part, in the comment section below, leave #99. And I hope you win. So we'll talk to you soon. You have a good day.